It better be good, hasn't it? Yeah. As Tom was saying, you know, there's something that's been on my heart for a long time, something I wanted to preach about. And it's a subject that we are all faced with every day. It's one of those subjects we just don't want to talk about. And you've probably seen the notes already, so you know what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about what happens at the end of our life, you know, the final countdown. And you know, it's interesting, is that it's something that's going to happen to every one of us. Believe it or not, we're all going to die. Alright, so this is a really uplifting message this morning, okay? And for some reason, it's one of those topics we just never, ever want to talk about. You know, when was the last time you had a conversation with your friend about death? Right? And it's one of those things that we know is going to happen to us, and it's something that we put back in our minds, and we thought, you know, let's put it off, because it's many years away now. Let's put it right way out there. And I've got to that stage now where I've got a foot in each camp. Alright? I'm getting close to the final countdown, but I'm still very young, I'm still 16 in my head, you know. And this year's been a really, in some ways, traumatic year for me. I've attended 7 funerals this year. Many of them are for friends, and I was only with one last Wednesday. The guy who introduced me to motorbikes, Phil, I got it in, right? The guy, when I was 12 years old, he said, "Do you want to ride on the back of my motorbike? I've just built it." And I thought, yeah, why not? That sounds good fun. And I was hooked. He has no idea, well, he did have an idea. He changed my life forever. On that day, he gave me a ride on the back of a motorbike. But he died last week. And to my mind, he was young, Big Alan, right? He was only a youngster. He was just in his 20s. What happened? And quite sadly, earlier in the year, a real dear friend of mine, Olive Mounds, been real close friends with her and her husband for many years. She got really sick. She went into hospital. She had terminal lung cancer. And I was there, in some ways had the privilege of being with her for the final few weeks of her life. And you know, I'd pray for her, and I'd sit with her, and I'd hold her hand, and her husband as well. And you know what? I felt so inadequate. What do you say to someone whose life is about to end? What do you say? You know, we have all these thoughts in our minds, don't we? But we keep putting them off, as though it's something that's never going to happen to us. Or we'll put it off, and one day we're prepared to have an answer. But we never do. And I was there when they switched the machine off, and her last breaths went away. And I said, "Lord, what can I say in this situation? What can I do?" It seems that no matter what words are used, they are far from adequate to bring comfort. Now, as many of you know, I'm a keen long-distance walker, and I like to get away, you know, at least once a year on a long walk. And for some months I've been planning a walk around the Isle of Wight. Just go around the outside, you know, get to Ryde, turn left, keep the sea on the left until you get back to Ryde. And as the time came, I did this 2 weeks ago, and as the time came, well, I'm riding over the whole path. You know, Lord, I want this to be a time where I spend it with you, and I want a topic. And this whole question about death and mortality came up. And I thought, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start walking, and I'm going to start chatting to God about old age. Not that I'm old, right? I'm going to chat to him about old age and death, and what's it all about? How can God use my life? How can God use our lives when we meet people in that situation? And so each day I would walk, and God would give me a theme, and then I'd just chat, and I'd just walk, and I'd chat to him about it. And during the day he would give me thoughts, and I started jotting down some of those thoughts. And some of you know, if you look at my Facebook page, in the evening I would just jot down the stuff that God had given me that day about death and mortality. And I must admit, I'm blogging away this, and I'm thinking, people will think I've totally lost the plot. who blogs on his page about death apart from some morbid guy? And so I was putting this down there, and I was amazed at the response I got. I think on my first blog I got about 85 responses. And I got responses from people I hadn't met for 20, 30 years. They say, do you know what, Michael, we've got to talk about this. Can you give me a call? Can you give me a contact? And so I think this message this morning is something that God wants us all to bear in mind, to take to heart, because he's got some very stuff to say about death and mortality that is uplifting. And so without further ado, let me go into that. And on the first day, the Lord really spoke to me and he said, look, in coming to terms with old age, it's vital that we know what the relevance of our life is. If you'd like to turn with me, we'll turn to the Psalms, Psalm 25. And it's interesting that these scriptures I got, they were my readings every day. And it seemed to me that God had a reading for me every day on the topic he wanted me to think about that day. And this was the scripture I had on the first day, Psalm 25, if you're there. And we'll go to verse 4 and 5. Psalm 25, verse 4 and 5. Are you there? You've got Psalms right in the middle of the Bible. It's usually quite an easy one to find, that one. It says this: make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Let me in your truth and teach me. For you are my God, the God of my salvation. For you I wait all the day long. Teach me, let me know your ways, O Lord. Now, many of us have a journey through life. We all plan out, it's sometimes planned out for us, we go to school, at the end of school some people might go to university, and we probably have a chat with a careers advisor about all the things that we want to become the biggest, the best, and things like that. And so in some ways, our lives tend to be mapped out for us by the advertisers and by the good advice that our teachers give us about what the relevance of life is. Oh, you need to become a doctor. You need to become a youth leader. You need to be this. You need to be that. You need to get a house. You need to have 2.4 children and a dog and a cat and all that other stuff. Right? And we're told that that stuff is the relevance, it's what makes our life relevant. In my own career, I was fortunate in that I got thrown out of school, would you believe? I just was no good at school. So if you're at school, ignore what I'm saying now, right? But I was thrown out of school and I left with no qualifications. But my dad was really good. He just said, look, Michael, you've got to do something with your life. And so I got a job with a co-op. I filled shelves at a co-op. I quite enjoyed that. And I fitted tyres. Well, if anyone needs a tyre fitting, I'm pretty good at that hand with a mallet, particularly big lorry tyres and stuff like that. And my dad said to me, he said, look, he says, you can do better than this. Whatever better is. He said, and so he said, you've got to go back to college. I said, what do you know? I've just escaped school. Why would I ever want to go back? I hated every moment I was at school. Why would I ever want to go back? He said, look, you've got to do something else. And so he arranged with one of his customers, who was actually a lecturer at a college, who was running one of the first computing courses in the country on business computing. And my dad said, hey, come on, you need to go on that, because my dad was actually subbing me. I wasn't earning enough. And so he was actually bailing me out. And he said, you're going to have to go. And I said, well, I don't really want to go. He said, well, if you don't go, he says, I'm not going to bail you out anymore. Do I have to? I said, but look, the qualifications, you need to have A-levels. I haven't got any O-levels or A-levels. And the lecturer was so desperate for students, they were prepared to take anybody on, including me, provided I did my O-levels and A-levels in 1 year. And I was thinking, I just don't want this. But in the end, I said to my dad, okay, I'll do it. And so I went along to this college up near Fort Halstead, actually it's near the airport, it's no longer a college anymore. And I went along there, And you know, on my first day, we did computing. And I loved it. I thought, wow, this is fun. You know, and they gave me a personal tutor who taught me O-level English and maths, and then I went to A-levels. But they explained to me why I needed to know this stuff in relevance to computing. And I thought, this is fun. We had a big computer and I programmed. Anyway, I got up and it turned out I was pretty good at it. And at the end of my course, I joined a very small computer company. And this company, little do I know, was one of the pioneers in business computing today. And all the stuff that you use on the internet, whether it be connecting your iPads up and you're using apps and stuff like that, the company I joined pioneered all this stuff. And you know what? Every day was fun. And I grew up with a company, and this company that I started out with, which was at that time I think it was a couple of $1 million turnover, ended up being a couple of $1 billion turnover company. And I grew up with it, and I became a senior manager. And as many of you know, I ended up traveling around the world, and I was talking computing and the future and stuff like that. And to all intents and purposes, I had made it. I had a good salary, enabled me to bring my kids up, to send them through university, all that stuff. I've made it, right? In the world's terms, I was successful. And when I retired, I know I'm not old enough to retire, right? But when I retired, what I found is that when I was at work, I could command 100 people, do this, do that, and they would do it. I could spout words of wisdom and they would do it. They would take my voice as gospel. I'd say, okay, we need to do this. Yes, Michael, do this. Yes, absolutely, sir. Yes, I like that. And when I retired, I suddenly found all that influence I had started to wane. And it was a matter of just a couple of years when I found that all the stuff that I'd learned, and Tom mentioned last week, I learned Algol, Fortran, COBOL, plus all the modern languages in there, and I was a developer, and I knew stuff, I invented products and stuff like that. I suddenly found out I am now out of date. And I could see people's eyes, and I'd say, oh no, when I was at ComShare, I used to do this, and then you could see them rolling. I suddenly realized that my career was no longer relevant. How many of us have got to that stage in life where we find that our skill set and that is no longer relevant? Well, you're all too young, so you haven't got there yet. But let me tell you, I meet a lot of people in Womble Hall, the nursing home, people in their 80s and 90s. And some of these people have had fantastic careers. They've been doctors. Some of them have been structural engineers. Some have been university professors. But now, at their age, when their mental faculty isn't quite the same, when their experience is now out of date, they are no longer relevant. And they've been dumped in a nursing home, stuck in front of the television, day after day, waiting to die. And I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? The world's relevance, I don't want to know about it. Because you know what? It doesn't, you might be relevant today, but as far as the world's concerned, if you're unable to add economic value or intellectual value, you are irrelevant. And you're discarded to one side. I then started to think, throughout my life, what have been the times that I've gone, fantastic, wow, that's brilliant. Look through your own lives for a moment. You will find almost certainly the times that gave you the most pleasure, the most satisfaction, were all to do with a relationship. Whether it be your partner, the day you got married, whether it be the day that your daughter, your son, your child was born, it's all to do, when they turn around and say, I love you, Dad, you thought, wow, I feel relevant because someone loves me. And I found that the Lord's telling me is that true satisfaction, true relevance in life is always linked to a relationship. The trouble is, as we get near to the end of our lives, we start to regret that we haven't got more of them. And that we've spent our time gaining toys and accumulating possessions, when really, for our lives to be truly relevant, we should have been accumulating relationships more than anything else. You see, God created mankind for relationships. God created man that there was a relationship between man, woman, and God, and there was a relationship between man and woman. You see, we're created for relationships. The trouble is that in mankind, I suddenly rose to the front, and we broke that relationship with God, and now it all became about me, about the toys that I can accumulate, the influence that I can possess. We got puffed up, and relationships died. But Jesus came to restore relationships. He reminded people, what did he say? He said to the rich young ruler, what were the two greatest commandments Jesus said were? First of all, to love God with all your heart and mind. And what was the second? Love one another, your neighbour. Do you know, relationships? God places relationships above anything else. A relationship with Him and a relationship with one another. Relationships are the key to a good life, because it gives life its purpose and its relevance. And the Lord told me, He said, it's the relationships that you gather, because without relationships, death is so much harder to face, because the chances are you'll probably face it alone. And again, when I go into Wilbur Hall, I see so many people just in their last weeks, and there is no one around them. And many realise that they are totally and utterly alone. It's just a sad fact. It's never too late to cultivate relationships. Anyone can start. We can start today. So the first thing God told me about death and dying, cultivate good relationships, because the relevance of life is not in the toys. The relevance of life is in the relationships that we have with Him and we have with one another. On the second day of my walk, God started talking to me about coming to terms with our own mortality. I'd read a book by Henry Nouwen just a few weeks beforehand, and there's a great book actually just on, it's called Our Greatest Gift. It was about how you deal with people who are dying. And he said this, he said, death is the part of the natural process of living. Did you know this is going to uplift you, right? Did you know, from the moment you were born, you were destined to die? Right? Every one of you. From the moment we were born. Death is our thing. The thing is, it's something that we're afraid of. And I started checking God, I said, why am I afraid of death? And I think there's a number of reasons why we're afraid of death. I think, first of all, we're afraid that because our life will be cut short. That somehow all the pleasures that we haven't yet experienced, all the motorbikes I haven't yet ridden. In fact, I used to plan out, there are about 18 bikes I'd like to ride. Now, if I have one every 2 years, I'm going to be too old. I won't be able to ride the top ones. So I better start, we plan out our lives. We say, Lord, I can't die yet because there's so much stuff I've yet to do. I think we're frightened of death because it might be painful. I think we're frightened that we might be on our own. And I think we get fearful because we think God might reject us. No matter what we've done, somehow we'll get there and God's saying, not for you, you can't come in. You weren't good enough. But even Christians suffer from those fears. However, none of these are good reasons for us not to prepare for the inevitable. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 7 says this. It says that the dust at the end of our life, well, Ecclesiastes 12 is the best description of a person getting old. We don't have time to go through it this morning. But if you want a description of someone getting old, Ecclesiastes 12, fantastic description. But he says this, it says at the end of our lives, the dust will return to the earth as it was, and the spirit will return to God who gave it. You see, death of our bodies is not the end. There's something else. It's just the beginning of something that's much bigger. So, how do we overcome the fear of our mortality? I'd actually like to turn me, just go back a couple of pages to Psalm 23. It's interesting, most of the scriptures God gave me are all in the Psalms. Psalm 23. It says that, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures and leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why? For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You see, when Dave was writing this, it's not just talking about physical deliverance there. It's talking about something much, much bigger. David was somebody who just knew trouble. He knew trouble at home, he knew trouble from his enemies, and he caused quite a lot of the trouble, or some of the trouble that he found himself in. But David, and like David, we should always bear in mind, and he hung on to this one thought, that God, despite his failings, loved him. The trouble is that we equate love with the kind of love we give to one another. When we say we love you, what we really say is we quite like you. Provided you're not too bothersome, we will stay in contact with you. But the minute you go beyond a certain point, do you know, we're out of here. That is not God's love. That last song we sang, that new one, what a fantastic song that was. Alright? It doesn't matter what you do, God's love towards you is never diminished. Now, we have trouble with that, don't we? Because we don't really believe that's true. We believe, well, yeah, if I'm good, if I struggle right, then God will love me. But, you know, if I'm like that person over there, if I'm like that evil person there, then God can't possibly love him. And there is no hope for them. Those terrorists, there is no hope for them. But do you know what? God loves them. And I think we have a trouble with that. You see, the problem is, we've equated the love that we have as being the same that the love of God has towards us. And God was telling me, he says, look, I loved you before the foundation of the world. Even before you were born, I loved you. I had you in mind. I had plans for you. And even during your life, though you may have got off track, I still love you. And at the end of your life, when you leave this earth, I'm still going to love you. But if you want to spend time with me, that's your choice. Your choice. Where you spend eternity is your choice. But God wants to be with you. He wants you to be with him throughout all your life. Why? Not because you're cool, but because he loves you. It's an unconditional love. What if our life's cut short? It doesn't matter. God has a plan for us. For some people it's 20 years, some people it's 30 years, sometimes 50 years, and we can try and argue in our minds. It doesn't matter, because throughout that time, God loves you, and he will call you back to himself. He loves you so much, he wants you back. So that he's got your whole attention. So that sometimes the fears and the anger that we go through, he says, look, I want to take you out of that. I love you so I want to take you out of all that hurt, because I want you back. Back to be with me. You know, people often say, why does God allow all the trouble? I think sometimes it's because it's the only way he can get our attention. Let's face it, it's only when life is going wrong that our attention suddenly turns to him and we're called back to him. What if God was to reject us? Well, to believe that means that we don't believe God loves us. When God said that he loved the world so much, he gave his only son. By the way, he doesn't require us to be good to get into heaven. He was good enough. What Jesus did was good enough. Instead, he just requires us to love him. And he knows that we're going to fail and let him down, but we should never underestimate that love that will carry us throughout all our lives. To face death without fear requires us to accept that there is a God who loves us with a love that was there before we were born and will be there after we die. Henry Nouwen says this: when we know that God holds us safely, whatever happens, we don't have to fear anything or anyone, but we can walk through life with great confidence. On the third day, God was talking to me about leaving a legacy. I think as we grow older, something that can bring a bit of peace to us in our old age is to say, do you know what, I look back at my life and it was worth it. It was the world's a better place because I lived. I think that's what a lot of us would say. As long as I've lived a life that was worthwhile, then it makes it a little bit better. It makes it a little bit more peaceful. I remember at work, one of my work colleagues came in, he had a t-shirt, and the slogan was, "He who has the most toys wins." And you know, I loved it because in a nutshell, that describes the world. You know, if we end up with most of the toys, okay, then somehow we've won. Of course, we're all going to leave the toys behind. In Psalm 41, let's just turn to it, Psalm 41, it says this. Blessed is the one who considers the poor. In the day of trouble, the Lord delivers him. The Lord protects him and keeps him alive. He is called blessed in the land. You do not give him up to the will of his enemies. This psalm, sometimes we read it and we say, oh, God will deliver me, okay, and we will live. Sometimes we equate that and say, well, that means physical healing, we'll be healed. But you know, there are many people today in this world who live on. William Wilberforce, Mother Teresa, William Booth, they still live on today in the lives of people who they inspired and who want to emulate them. You see, I believe God wants us to leave a legacy. And I believe it says, when it says in those words in that verse, we'll preserve him and keep him alive, I believe that's also relating to that person's legacy that they're going to leave. God gave me some words that I wrote down, and he gave me this. He said, our true legacy is in the lifestyle that we live and its effect on the people we deal with on our daily journey through life. We may never know the true influence we have, but it will live on in the lives of the people we meet and who they meet and interact with in the years to come. You see, our true legacy is when people say, I want to be just like Graham. The way he lived his life. I want to be like that. I always say to Janice, my wife, she's out with the kids at the moment, so she probably won't hear this. But you know, she's always said, well, I didn't, you know, I used to work in a bank, but all I did was stay at home with the kids every day. I said, you wouldn't believe, that is a huge, huge task. All you mums, it's a huge task. Because what you're doing, you're shaping and you're forming the character of your kids. And as they grow up, they're going to emulate what you did. I wonder, how do you want to be remembered? Or perhaps important, how do you want, what characteristics of yours do you want people to emulate? Do you like meeting people who constantly criticize other people? Do you want your kids and friends to live in debt, knowing that one day it's going to come in and collapse around about them? Do you want them to believe that it's more important to be at work, earning so that you can enjoy more toys, than spending time with them, quality time with them, showing them that they're really loved? I wonder, would we prefer our kids to be kind to those that they meet? Would we like our kids to help the aged, the homeless, to put others first? To the extent that they have a reputation that is inspirational. Would you like them to plough as much time as they can into their kids during those formative years, so that their kids know that they are truly loved and adored by their parents? Whether we like it or not, the way that we live our lives, the way that we deal with people every day, will become our legacy. Henry Norman says this: our death may be the end of our success, our productivity, our fame, our importance among people, but it is not the end of our fruitfulness. In fact, the opposite is true. The fruitfulness of our lives shows itself in its fullness only after we have died. How can I live so that I can continue to be fruitful when I'm no longer here? This question shifts our attention from doing to being. You know, unless we've sorted out our relationships, including those people we don't like, those people we're angry with, unless we've sorted those out, unless we're calm about our mortality and what lies beyond the grave, that legacy is greatly diminished. I'm running out of time, so let me just quickly go on to another topic here. And that's caring for the dying. So often, when we meet people, I'm sure everyone has met people who've only got a few days or a few hours to live. And our response to that can be, sometimes we go to them and say, no, I'm believing that God's going to heal you, right? And God's going to heal you and He's going to raise you up and I'm going to stick there with you. When we know that's not going to happen. How do we care for those people? And God would say, well, how would you want someone to care for you? If you were in that situation. Psalm 91 says this. Okay, we don't have time to read it all. I'll just read you a couple of verses, but it's worth reading this when we get home. It says, Psalm 91, the first part says, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him I will trust. That's the psalmist saying, God, I'm going to trust in you. In the end of my life, I'm going to trust in you. And this is what God replies. He says, because He has set His love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. Not necessarily from physical illness, but I will deliver his soul from fear. I will release him to be with me. I will set him on high because he has known my name. He should call upon me and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. You know, one day when we leave these physical bodies, God's going to place a crown of righteousness. We're going to be honored because we have set our love upon him. With that in mind, when I go and visit someone, I always bear in mind that hope in death is directly related to faith in God. There is no other answer. Every person is special. When I'm faced with this, there are a couple of things I bear in mind, and I think in your leaders' notes, I'll give you a lot more detail in the leaders' notes than you might want to discuss in your groups this week. But I said this, is that when I visit people who are about to come to the end of their lives, there's a number of things. First of all, these people are not defined by their physicality or by their mental state, but by the spirit that God placed in them, who loved them before the foundation of earth. That's who I minister to. They're not projects. They're not doing this because I want to be a do-gooder, but I do it because God loves them. And as a Christian, God wants me to reach out and show love and compassion to them. When I'm having a conversation with them, it's not about me. It's not about what I would do. It's all about them, about their past, about their present, and about their future. I'm not there to give advice. I'm just there to be there. Just being there. Sometimes it's just holding someone's hand to show that they are loved of God so much. I will give up my time just to hold their hand. Unless they want to, I don't ever dwell on their current health state. But all my dealings, I want to be a living reminder that they are beloved of God. And there is hope beyond the grave in faith in Jesus Christ. Coroner Henry Nowen said this. He said, care is the loving attention given to another person. Not because that person needs to stay alive, not because that person or some insurance company is paying for it, not because it provides jobs, not because the law forbids our hastening death, not because that person can be used for medical research, but because that person is a child of God, just as we are. And when I visit people in Womble Hall, I recognise they are a child of God. And where I can, I'll talk and say, God loves you. And you'll be surprised at the response people have. And when it comes, and I also give some great advice, when it comes to make that long jump, he goes on to say, when you speak to him, don't try to grab him, he will grab you. They just need to stretch out their arms and hands and trust, trust, trust. God gave me a lot of other stuff, and I tend to write stuff in a little bit. But what I want to leave you is this, is that hope in life is absolutely linked to having the faith in God. That God that we were singing about today, saying that he loves us. He really does love us. And he'll love us whether we're living a great life, or we're coming to the end of our lives, or we're at the beginning of our lives. He loves us and will be with us throughout all that life. And at the end, we're going to be with him. Because he loves us. This physical body, it's only the body that dies. Not the bit that makes me me and you. That doesn't die. That returns to God. And as we go out this week, let's just bear in mind there are people out there who are scared. They don't know what life brings, or life has been such a disappointment to them. But let's just bear in mind there's a God who loves us. And that God wants us to reach out to those round about us. He wants us to leave a legacy of love, which is based on what God has called us to do, that we care for one another, that we love one another. There's many other things. I don't think dying is something we should be afraid of. I think it's something that we can approach with absolute boldness because of what God has done. Because of what Jesus has done. Jesus, he died on the cross. And he rose again to say, look, there is life beyond the grave. I've done it. You can get through it. And then you'll be with me. Death, where is your sting? Right? I've overcome the grave. And we can rest assured in that. So let's go out this week. If you've been touched by this message, if you're not sure of what's beyond the grave, then do talk to us on the door. Do come to the prayer team. We'd love to pray with you. But let's not duck the issue anymore. Let's come to terms that there's a mortality in our bodies. It's not the end. It's just the next step to life eternal with the God who loves us. Amen.